All right. I think that is, yep, that's live. All right, welcome back. Kia ora, g'day. Here we are, first little video. The man himself, so got sent through this link. Kyle has finally spoken. I haven't watched, it's only a short video. I've only watched first few seconds of this and then just rewound it. So we'll see what he has to say after Channel 9 have decided to get rid of him. I think the wording is they've parted ways, but they're lost, man.
Hey guys, Samwika. So I'm free, truly independent. I didn't get the chance to thank my free-to-air audience for 21 great years. So thank you for riding the ups and downs. You have my thanks, and you have...
Fellow looks like he just woke up or something. Looks scruffier than usual, but I suppose it's to be expected. Hey, he's on leave and he's not getting all the, I presume, all the makeup treatment that he would normally get. Actually, there's some comments and stuff on here. Actually, let's get through this first, and then I'll read out some of them, or a couple of the messages.
All of my love. To my colleagues, I'll ring you privately, but Says, look after everyone for me. I know they'll miss me desperately, especially Halos and Isaac and Abby and Timmy. But everyone there, I look forward to seeing you soon. To my audience on this show,
it's going to be probably a different vibe, different feel, eh? I guess his co-hosts, the people that he just mentioned, I wonder how they're, probably having to be very careful about how they, suppose, how they communicate and what they say when they go on television. 21 years. I knew it was a long time. I think I did say, I think it was more than 20 years or something like that. But man, 21 years and done, gone, just like that.
thank you for your messages over the last couple of days. It has really meant everything to me. It wasn't easy this last couple of days, but we roll on. So here's what I believe in. The public deserve to hear perspectives. This country was built by, hard-working Aussies from all around the world, and they were bound by the same values, but very different experiences. So on my show, I've spoken to people who have different perspectives. I know that winds some people up. Sometimes I agree with everything a guest says, sometimes I don't. But importantly, you get to make up your mind. You have the right to hear from different voices. Freedom of speech here and around the world is what this show is about. You don't have to listen to my show. You have the power. You are smart enough to make up your own mind. I want to thank our sponsors who stood by us, who believe in the freedom of speech that we're talking about, who are proud to stand by us, to stand by you. I hope other proud sponsors join the show shortly. We're looking for them. Well, we keep going. Thanks, legends.
I suppose maybe it's because, well, sponsors-wise, I don't think he's going to have any issue getting sponsors. He's a public figure. From what I understand, he's fairly well liked, maybe just not by Channel 9 these days, but amazing how things can change after one interview. And I guess is it the cancel culture? I don't know if that's the right term, but those that have very strong opinions on things, and we all do, I get it, we've all got strong opinions about things, but the ability whereby some with their opinions or what have you also have a heck of a lot of power and sway to be able to shut somebody else down is pretty crazy to me. Now, I know I received at least one comment. Kyle wasn't very well liked for a period of time by a number of people. It's probably, he may still well be not very well liked by a number of people in Australia and around the place. I can't say that I know him. Some of the stuff that I've seen on his Kyle Stefanovic show, I've enjoyed. I don't mind when it's some of the funny stuff that I've seen happen on the show that he's now no longer a part of. I think the Sunrise or Early Morning Show or whatever it is, seems to have a reasonably good sense of humor. Somebody mentioned about the dull bludging comments that he mentioned about Kiwis and stuff, and I gave my thoughts. That was on the earlier live today. And yeah, I'll read the other comments after this, but be interesting to see how it goes. I reckon he's probably gonna, and I wish him all the best. I reckon he's gonna take off. I subscribe to his channel. I'm also a subscriber to the Tommy Robinson channel after not having watched the full interview yet, but I've seen bits and pieces of him interviewing Tommy Robinson. So, yeah, interesting times ahead. We'll see who else. Who are the other potential television media personalities that may get cancelled? Interesting times.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do.
You'll figure it out, man. Just crack on doing what you're doing, I reckon.
But I'll figure it out.
There you go. He'll figure it out. All right. Interesting. That's the first video. What's this other video? Oh, yeah. Poor old Dustin Poirier. Anyway, coming back to, what's her name? Where are we here? Dun, dun, dun. I think that's, yeah, it's showing up as live. Anyway, I don't need that. Where is the comment, actually? Dun, dun, dun. Received some comments in the comment section. Where are we? Dun, 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 dun. What's this? At Harvest 7687, Kyle has sort of redeemed himself in some way, Brother Joe, during the C19er times in that dastardly 2020 to 21 period, when he, with his powerful platform in the media, came fully and constantly against those of us that were standing against the whole vaccination agenda and mandates. I was living in Australia then. Oh, wow. Okay. Just recently, he has publicly renounced his position on all of that. Some say too little, too late, but it would still take kahunas to do that and humble himself. So I'm watching him closely now too. He should be very influential with his new direction he is going. That's true, eh? I mean, Kyle has got quite the presence and personality in the social media space and with his own channel, with his own show. So yeah, like I said, I wish him all the best. I didn't know anything of what he was saying. I was back here in NZ at that time. I got back here in January 2020. So before the lockdowns and stuff started to happen. And yeah, so I didn't hear or see anything. I know that there was people here in New Zealand as well banging on about getting vaccinated. No, it's not for you, it's for your family. Yeah, and some people refused to, and good on them. The job that I was in, it was one of those things that you had to be vaccinated if you wanted to carry on working. I enjoyed the work that I was doing. I didn't care. Like, it didn't bother me if I got vaccinated. So getting vaccinations when I was in the military, it didn't bother me personally. But I had respect for those that felt that they couldn't do it and didn't want to do it. And we had people at the place where I was working that refused to get vaccinated as well. So I don't think they should have been, or I don't think people should have been shut out of being able to work. But I don't know what the options were at that time. Maybe the government just not mandating it and just seeing what happens. I just thought it was just a cold and flu like anything else. But anyway, that was that one. Leave that. Let's go to this next video, which is Dustin Poirier. Poirier? I don't know how to say his name properly. But this was pretty sad, man. I have actually seen this video. So person sent me this. And yeah, I'm going to share the screen, bro. What are you up to? Where are we? Watch ex-UFC fighter Dustin Poirier threatens to fight officer inside. So, where are we? Come on, man. Here we go. Let's see.
Well, let's go, big dog. Let's go, big dog.
What's going on?
What's up? Let's go. Let's go. You pick a line.
Oh, man. I mean, I like Dustin from when he was competing. Seems like a good guy. He's got seems like a guy with good values, family, all that sort of thing. I did laugh when I watched this. I was like, holy heck, man. Bloody hell. He clearly sounds like he's on something, because when you compare his behavior in this video, and I know I haven't played all of it yet, but I'll get to it. When you watch and compare his behavior in this video to how he is when he's been interviewed in the octagon, pre-fight, post-fight, all that sort of thing, it's it's nothing like this. So he's on something.
Yeah, pull me off the plane. All my boys went crib. Now what?
And this is why he got
All right, you Dustin Poirier?
Man, you, bro.
All right, just relax.
Man, her. I'll fight you right now.
No, I don't want to fight, bro.
I'll go with you right now.
Bro, I don't want to fight, bro. I don't want to
Let's
fight.
go.
I don't want to fight.
Let's go.
Radio, have you?
Yeah,
step
tell
up.
him, come on.
Get a
Poor fella. I'm sure, I have no doubt Dustin's watched this back and is just thinking, I'd say he's probably super disappointed in himself. Like, obviously I don't know Dustin, but man, I would say if he's not super disappointed in himself for the way he's behaved here, the names that he was calling the two ladies, the flight attendants or staff, him just saying "F you" to this guy, the guy was like, just acknowledging, bro, are you Dustin Poirier? Like, he would have been probably somewhat starstruck, I would imagine. I would be if I saw, not in that situation, if somebody is blinking, drunk and acting like a clown. But man, just yeah, I wonder if Dustin will come out, do some interviews, and I assume he'd probably apologize. He'd probably want to go and see these people and apologize to them while he's sober and not blinking. Oh, I don't know if he's sober or stoned or on some drugs or whatever, but yeah, this is disappointing anyway.
Because it's going to be bad.
Bro, just
It's going to be bad.
Oh, bro.
What's up?
Bro, relax.
You want to fight?
37.
Poor fellow. At least he's got his body camera on. He remembered to turn his body camera on. Is that a taser? Got his hands on the pistol grip of a taser or something? As he's moving away.
You wanna
Radio,
fight
start
something?
several units. Start several units.
How you boys not going to fight something?
Radio to
Bro.
3710.
Boy, you
Bro,
You
relax,
gonna
relax, relax, bro.
You gonna
Relax.
taste
Relax, bro.
going to take me? dog?
Relax.
It is a taser. Well, if you keep walking like you're threatening to want to give the poor fella a hiding when he's been called to the front desk, then yeah, I'd probably taser you too.
I'm going to bang you up.
Bro, relax.
I'm going to do.
Not while you're shaking to a whole bunch of blinking volts going through your body, you won't be.
Just relax.
Give me a good one.
Yo. They kicked them off. Guys in the UFC. No.
What's going on, brother? Talk to
Man. Let's go. Arrest me. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, at least, when I watched this, I was like, oh man, is he going to cook off and try to fight all of the guys that are there now? At least he, and I think he fist bumps this guy here with the body camera on, and says he did a good job. Like he did, to his credit, whoever that guy is, doing his job, likely experienced, I think, in having to deal with all sorts of people, I suppose, drunk and disorderly and just stuck up or entitled or whatever in different places. And, it's good that there are people out there that try to do their job well, in comparison to some others that, might have seen that as an opportunity to try to be a hero and then say that they beat a UFC fighter.
Arrest me. That's the best way, dog. That's the best way. That's the best way.
Yeah, disappointing, Dustin. And the best way would have been if you just bloody behaved yourself on the flights. I think he got removed. And then if you didn't carry on like a pork chop after it.
Hey, pound it.
All right, man.
No, you did a great job, bro. You did a great job. You did what you could.
Yeah, that made me laugh when I saw that. Pound it. Bloody hell, Dustin. Yeah, disappointing from that side of things. I'm sure there's going to be lots of UFC fighters and probably Joe Rogan and maybe Dana White and all that sort of thing that will probably be asked about it to get their opinion and thoughts, which is cool. So it'd be interesting to hear theirs, but I'm sure they'll probably be similar. They're probably disappointed in what they likely have seen or see in that footage with Dustin, how you cannot be disappointed and how he couldn't be disappointed in himself. I don't know, but yeah, maybe it's part of, I don't know, maybe it's just part of no longer being a part of that environment, no longer being a part of the UFC, or no longer preparing for a fight. That's been his job for I don't know how long, over a decade, I would assume, and something that that's been a huge part of his life that he loves. And maybe it's just a case of really missing that and struggling to move on. Maybe, I don't know, but pretty sad to see. Hopefully he gets sorted out. Hopefully he gets whatever help he needs. Hopefully he does go back and apologizes to the two ladies and to that gentleman that had his body camera on, and that he can crack on and move forward. Yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on that. People, excuse me, asking me if I'd seen it. I was like, yep, I have seen it, unfortunately. Hey, DMC, cheers for the from Palmerston North 7756. All right, that's that one. I'm going to share this one. So I got sent this, and I watched this because it was short. And this is in regards to the BRS stuff, Ben Roberts-Smith. So let me just share the screen here. That one. Yep, there we go. See how that shows up. And play. Oh, play.
I don't recall seeing anyone in the hierarchy placed in any kind of position of culpability legally.
Brereton came out, and I am very critical of him and of the report in this regard, came out and gave what a government-appointed oversight panel called, their terms, a blanket exemption to the higher command. Now, that was on the basis that he said they didn't have sufficient...
A blanket exemption. Those are their words, a blanket exemption to the higher command during periods of the global war on terror, where SOTG, or Special Operations Task Group, were conducting offensive operations in Afghanistan. So a blanket exemption in the Brereton report. Paul Brereton, Blinken, Twatterton, looking out for, or for whatever reason, watching out for his mates, because he knows that the command, which is their responsibility, is to have oversight and to have awareness and understanding of what's happening on the ground. And as and when reports are escalated to them, they are also then made aware, and then they need to make decisions. And those decisions need to be recorded and acted on. Okay, so the fact that this Paul Brereton, I don't know why he carries so much weight, the bloody little rodent. Didn't he just resign not that long ago from the, was it corruption something or other, because of a massive conflict of interest and some of his Blinken dealings in other areas where he wasn't supposed to be, or where he was working his paid work. He was using that opportunity as his paid work to do his other work for other parts, or another bloody whatever it was he was working on that he wasn't supposed to be working on during work time. Anyway, nothing will probably happen to that guy either, because he's got friends in higher places that are covering his backside. Similarly, I assume that if he goes down, he's going to take them with him. So he's probably got dirt on them too. So anyway, let's come back to this, because I might have to rewind this and play this again. So blanket decision that higher command for Special Operations Task Group have a blanket exemption. So they're not culpable with regards to these war crime allegations against Australian soldiers, against SASR troops, against commandos. Like, if they're not culpable, what the hell are they doing there? Like, what's the point of having higher command during a global war on terror if they don't know what's going on? Hey, like, it's just trucking ridiculous.
Sufficient command and control over SOTG troops. But all of those have sufficient command and control over SOTG troops. But all of those generals who were given distinguished service crosses for distinguished command and leadership. So on one hand, medal for distinguished command and leadership. On the other hand, Brereton says that they can't be held responsible because they had insufficient command and control. You can't have it both ways, mate.
All right.
That's a great point, eh? Getting distinguished service crosses and medals for supposed outstanding leadership. And you would think that outstanding leadership, or whatever the distinguished leadership is in relation to them having their finger on the pulse and leading the men strategically and providing that information and intelligence, that direction down, so that people or the operators are able to or are empowered to act tactically at the coalface on operations on the ground. So they get those awards. And then in the Paul Brereton report, they go, well, they can't be held accountable. They need a blanket exemption because they didn't have sufficient knowledge of what was going on. Let's just hear the wording again.
Legally.
Brereton came out, and I am very critical of him and of the report in this regard, came out and gave what a government-appointed oversight panel called, their terms, a blanket exemption to the higher command. Now, that was on the basis that he said they didn't have sufficient command and control over SOTG troops. But
they didn't have sufficient command and control over SOTG troops. Even that doesn't sound good. So you're saying, Paul Brereton, that your buddies in the higher command, not only were they in country and that they didn't have sufficient command over the SOTG troops, but it sounds like it was a complete waste of time them being there. So what did they do, these higher command, if they didn't have sufficient control over the SOTG troops, special operations, task group, special operations task group there? Like, what are they doing there if they don't have sufficient command and control? Who has got command and control then? So it just makes me have more questions. Like, if the leaders don't have sufficient command and control, say for Australia, then who are the leaders that did have sufficient command and control based on Paul Brereton's belief? I'd love to ask that little weasel where and how he comes to that assessment. What are you basing that on? Surely there must be evidence that needs to be provided to support his position or his rationale as to why he believes that senior command had insufficient command and control over SOTG operations. There has to be a rationale, surely. Like, or can you just go and conduct the report? Government can just get their mates in to go there, and then you can just say all this stuff and not have to justify it or provide any sort of rationale. This is crazy to me. And then this with regards to the medals or the awards.
All of those generals who were given distinguished service crosses for distinguished command and leadership. So on one hand, medal for distinguished
command and leadership. Yeah, sorry, I cut him off.
Command and leadership. On the other hand, Brereton says that they can't be held responsible because they had insufficient command and control. You can't have it both ways, mate.
100%. I think I heard that word similar to that effect on the Bravery and Betrayal documentary. Maybe it was shared by this guy. But I don't know about you, but that makes a lot of sense to me, what he's saying. You can't have it both ways. How can you be awarded a Distinguished Service Cross for outstanding or exemplary leadership and command? And then on the other hand, old mate from Australia says, oh, hang on, senior command can't be held accountable because they had insufficient command over SOTG operations. What's the saying? Make it make sense. Make that make sense. Like, that's mind-blowing to me. It's interesting how mainstream media isn't putting that stuff out there. Makes you wonder why, and it's no surprise why, what's the name? No surprise why the general, or I shouldn't say the general public, a large number, I should say, of the general public have lost faith, I suppose, to a degree in regards to mainstream media and what they show and what they, the narratives that they push and put out. Very interesting. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. Sorry, let me just, what did I say I was going to yap on about? Kyle Stefanovic. Yep, we've listened to his video there where he's given his, he's finally free at last. Dustin Poirier, watch that video, SASR command blanket exemption. It's interesting, eh? Be interesting to hear people's thoughts in and around that in SASR command, or maybe it's not even just SASR command. Sounds like it's just ADF command overall in terms of who was there in Afghanistan during that time and during the period where these supposed war crime allegations took place. So again, it seems like Australia can take the war crimes list of things that used to have to be, you had to meet all the criteria to be charged with a war crime now and go back. So they did that back in 2024. They changed it 2 years ago whereby you only needed to meet one criteria. Then lo and behold, RS is arrested and charged. And then you can make that retrospective and take that all the way back to 2002. But at the same time, and part of this same whole saga, because this Brereton report is all wrapped up in as part of the war crime allegation stuff, and I think that's why it was triggered. So you can do all of that. You can change legislation, backdate it retrospectively more than 20 years, so back to 2002, so it captures that whole global war on terror and potentially anything else. But you can't be held, the commanders, the supposed commanders that got DSCs, Distinguished Service Crosses, can't be held accountable because they had insufficient command over the Special Operations Task Group. Make that make sense, eh? Like that's nuts to me. Who do you need to ask? I wonder who. Well, I suppose it wouldn't matter, eh? You get directed to the people that they say you should ask: government, the legislation makers, Senate, whatever. I don't know who the people are that you need to ask, but I'm sure they won't answer the question. It'll just be like every other Senate hearing. Like those things are a bloody. They're just a circus, eh? Like they don't. There doesn't seem to be any results that come out of it, other than these little snippets that I see that pop up on my feed and just make me shake my head and go, "Yep, there goes another person just trying to baffle their way, bamboozle other people that are asking them legitimate questions, so that they don't have to answer them." It just seems like a pointless exercise. Like it would be great if it resulted in something, like actual actions and. Like I've shared before, people are handing in fully redacted documents and saying, yeah, you asked for the documents, here they are. And then a person in the Senate is going, we don't know what's in these because they're all heavily redacted. And they're like, well, you asked for the documents, there's some sensitive information in there, we can't disclose that, so here you go. It's like, what's the point of the Senate? What are they doing? They clearly can't get the answers that they're after. And prime ministers and other members of parliament or ministers seem to be very well versed at avoiding answering direct questions, like old Shane Jones and his $63,000 spend to go to Toronto for 4 days, by the sounds of things. A $13,000 hotel bill for 2 people and 4 nights, which came to a whopping $1,600 a night at taxpayers' expense. Crack up. I did mention, as he said, thanks to his advocacy, it resulted in a $200 million investment in New Zealand. So if that's the case, cool. I think the media would do well to highlight that aspect of the work that he did and what that potentially means, rather than just focusing in on the trip, although I think that is quite an excessive amount of money to spend on a trip, especially when it's funded by a taxpayer. If it's your own money and that's how you want to roll, KR Koe, go for it. Fill your boots, man. And if you can afford that and you can roll like that, awesome. But if it's been funded for by taxpayers, I'd like to think that government ministers would be more reserved in terms of how they're spending that money and how they're using it. You know, having a driver on call, bro, just get a bloody Uber. When you need an Uber, that's why they're on call. Need a taxi, that's why they're on call. Pick up a phone, give a local taxi a call, and jump in a vehicle. You don't need a special 24-hour on standby driver for your trip. And stick within the budget. The bloody budget was approved for 33,000. You went and spent 63,000. It's like, what the heck? And then and then the cabinet or the prime minister, whoever signed off on it, if you're going to sign off on basically a double the cost trip, why have a limit in the first place? Like, why have the budget set? Oh, it's 33,000. That's what your trip has to fit with in between. Only to come back and then go, oh, actually the bill is 63,000. Why have a limit in the first place? You know, like, again, make that make sense. Where are we? Tommy Robinson. That's the last one on here. Now, actually, before I get into that, I will read one of the comments on here. Somebody that's kind enough to follow my channel too. So TX200MK5 shooter. He's often supports and follows the channel, but he's got his comment on the little post that I put up. Tommy Robinson is part of the problem, not the solution. Okay, I'm not saying Tommy Robinson is a solution to anything. I'm looking at it, and everybody will have their own opinions. There's probably lots of people in the UK that maybe hate Tommy Robinson's guts. Maybe like some of the media correspondents that I heard today refer to him as, not from the UK, this is an Australian one, referring to him as a racist, or the racist that Kyle Stefanovic spent time with. I shared my thoughts on that. I don't think, and I could be wrong, unless Tommy has come out and openly said, I'm a racist. He doesn't strike me as a racist. He strikes me as somebody that's passionate about people being held to account when they've done something wrong. Excuse me, and trying to bring to light the bloody gang rape stuff that was happening to young children and women and stuff over there in the UK, which apparently authorities and other members of government and parliament knew about, but didn't want to, I guess, rock the boat is the only simple way of putting it. So I don't know what part he plays. This guy here has got Tommy Robinson as part of the problem, not the solution. That may well be. Maybe he's not part of any sort of solution, but I like that he's outspoken and sticking by what it is that he believes in. Until such time, if I see something that I don't agree with, then yeah, I probably won't follow him. But I haven't seen anything yet, like in the bits and pieces, in and around what he's been talking about and what he's fighting for. But yeah, everybody will have their own opinions, eh? What's this one? At Harvest. Oh, Harvest again. Oh, pie eating competition. He's put a comment on that on my earlier live today. What did I have? What the truck is going on, plus Q&As. Yeah, I was referring to Shane Jones by some cheeky names, Chubby Cheeks and bloody, what was he doing over there? What were the other meetings? Bloody pie eating competition and whatever. So yeah, anyway. Tommy? Those that don't know, like, who the hell is Joe going on about? What are you talking about, bro? Come on, share screen. There he is. Oh, hang on. There he is. Mr. Tommy Robinson. Activist, journalist, activist. What does this say? Let's open that up. Name is Tommy Robinson, journalist, activist, and voice for Britain's forgotten people. From a working class background, I've spent my life standing up for truth, justice, and the values that built our nation. When the political elite betray us with lies, censorship, and corruption, I go straight to the people with live streams, documentaries, and real journalism that the mainstream media won't touch. I'm not here for division. I'm here to unite the kingdom. On the 13th September 2025, millions marched through London to prove that the British spirit is alive, unbreakable, and ready to rise again. That was just the beginning. This channel is more than news or activism. It's a movement for ordinary people who refuse to be silenced, a movement for our children, our families, and our future. And he's got subscribe, etc., etc. So, yeah, nothing in there. I suppose if somebody was a racist, they're probably not going to come out and say, I'm a racist, eh? So, but again, I'd like to think that stuff, it would probably be pretty hard to hide if you are that way inclined. And I think if he was, they'd probably just be like some of the other openly, what is it, neo-Nazi groups that are open about the fact that they don't like other cultures or ethnicities, and they want a white Australia and or a white America or whatever those groups are. Like, there's plenty of people out there that have their thoughts and opinions, and each to their own. But this guy, Tommy Robinson, I haven't seen him or heard him say anything like that. Obviously, he's very vocal about certain ethnicities and stuff that he's spoken about. I think Pakistan, Muslims, and that sort of thing, which he's spoken about, especially as it pertains to rape gangs. And there seems to be, from what he's found, and there's a report out. Actually, where is that report? Let me just do this. I think I had something on that. Independent. What's this? Independent inquiry into child sexual exploitation in Rotherham, 1997 to 2013. Alex J. OBE. So I have heard, what's his name? Tommy Robinson talk about this and talk about Rotherham specifically. And he's spoken about the person who was in charge of that police, I wonder if I can share this, who was in charge of that police station, or whatever you call it, police department at the time. And apparently that guy who was in charge of it, so this is 159 pages. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through 159 pages, but there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. In and around it, 55 of 159, as you can see there. I haven't gone through this yet, but I will be having a little look at it and probably grabbing some pieces and doing some reactions to it. So pretty disgusting stuff based on some of the stuff that I've heard and what Tommy Robinson has tried to bring to light. And he's spoken about this area, Rotherham, something like that. Apologies for saying that wrong if I'm saying it wrong. But interesting stuff. And apparently the guy that was in charge of that police department now is head of counterterrorism in the UK. Crazy. And apparently it's widely known that he did know that stuff, like the guy that was head of the police department of this area at the time, knew that stuff was going on and did nothing about it. In fact, they arrested parents, or at least one father, a situation that I had heard about. A father who went to one of those places to get his daughter out, and the police arrested him for, I think, disturbing the peace, and then arrested his daughter, who had been raped by these gangs, for drunken, disorderly behavior. Crazy stuff. So there are reports like these out and about. I don't know how long this report has been out and about for. Look, if you look at that date, here we go, 21st of August 2014. So going back a while, I've only just heard about this because of Tommy Robinson popping up on my radar. I never knew about the guy until Carl Stefanovic did an interview, and then all of a sudden, next minute I see he's been cancelled. I'm not laughing at the fact that Carl's been cancelled, just laughing at how crazy it is that people can be blocked from social media stuff and posting, effectively what they've found to be true. And I believe a part that I saw on Carl Stefanovic's interview with Tommy Robinson, Tommy was able to come back out on socials on Twitter, so X, when Elon Musk unblocked his account because previous owners of Twitter or whatever was happening saw fit to block people's channels or accounts or comments if it didn't align with the narrative that they wanted to be known out and about, which is just crazy to me. But anyway, where's this? Stop sharing that. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. I'll go through this documents and stuff anyway another time. I won't go through the whole 100 and whatever pages, but I'll look to do a summary of it and do a reaction to it, because there's bound to be some stuff in there. It's probably like that IPCA, was it Police Corruption Authority? Police Corruption Authority here in NZ. I haven't seen that report. Maybe that report is floating around as well. So probably be worth having a look into, especially with the latest news on Chambers being investigated at the moment with regards to what's going on here? With regards to sexual allegation queries. This is Lincoln going weird. Anyway, leave that there. What's this? Poeticus. Morena, man. Yeah, tragic when people with skillets like his skill sets like his act out. Yeah, sad, eh? Hopefully, I assume you're talking about Dustin. Sorry, I'm just looking at the some of the comments and stuff here now. Apologies to those that might have been putting stuff in the chat. Yeah, sad. Hopefully, just hopefully he's in a good space or gets sorted out or whatever. I mean, if it means he needs to come out of retirement and, wants to glove up and compete again, good on him. I don't think he should or probably doesn't need to, but maybe getting into coaching just full time or I don't know. Anyway, just hope he can get through whatever it is getting through. And if it means having some new friends or better friends that can steer you away from whatever it was you were on before you went to go jump on the airplane, then maybe that might be a good start as well. Good evening, Vanilla Butcher. Evening, Poeticus. Evening. Skill sets act out. Evening. Oh, yes, sorry, because you put more in there. All good. Jason, the same way a man get pregnant. The same way a man get pregnant. I'm not sure what that one's for, Jason C 9755, but all right. Etta, what's going on with my bloody thing here? This thing is just glitching. So it's not letting me bloody rubbish. Poeticus, yeah, too right, can't have it both ways. But even then they took the awards knowing there was shade being thrown. Shows a lack of backbone on their part, in my opinion. Could be wrong. I'm not a commander. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, you're talking about the the awards. They're taking the awards, eh? Yep, I'll add that with the other medals that they want to have on display. But shows a lack of backbone on their part. Oh, I agree. It shows, 100%. Like those guys, those commanders should be slated and questioned, grilled, like by anyone and everyone. Hey, I see you got a DSC. Like, didn't you have? Can you just explain what that medal's for? Isn't it for, exemplary leadership and command and leadership? I thought you had insufficient knowledge and understanding whilst you were over there. How is it that you've got that medal? Shouldn't those medals be given to the troops that were on the ground then? That would probably be a better place to issue them if the leaders had blinking bugger all knowledge of what was going on because they had insufficient command and control of SOTG. Then maybe hand those back in, bros, or don't issue those medals to those generals in the first place if they didn't earn them. And it sounds like they didn't, based on the Brereton report. Where are we? This thing is playing up, man. Apologies. Think young girls in the UK may become safer. Jason C9755. Not sure what you mean, bro. Think young girls in the UK may become safer. Poeticus, 2-tier policing is bad over in UK. Horrible stuff. Jason, here we go. Think there may be a more latest report on Rupert Lowe website. Search latest 16th June 2026. Oh, okay. Thank you for that, bro, Jason. Sorry, I don't know what you mean by the other comment. Think young girls in the UK may become safer. I don't know what that's about. Rupert Lowe website. Okay, cool. I'll have a look in terms of a more recent report. So yeah, cheers for that heads up. I think that was that. Let me just close that one. Where are we? Oh yeah. Maybe I should. Should I do it now? What's the time? Yeah, maybe. Let's do this. Let's see if this works. Oh, come on, man. Get that off. Go full screen. Let's go there. And let's share screen. Let's do this. What's this? What Tommy doing? Okay. Think young girls in the UK may become safer. What Tommy is doing. I bloody hope so, man. if there are groups of people like what he's called out and what these reports seem to suggest or seem to confirm, I should say, not suggest, like the report is out. And from what I understand, the report is confirming. So maybe even this latest report of what you're talking about, Jay. So thanks for that. I 100% hope it helps young people, whether it's young girls, young boys, women in general, become safer. I hope it makes it safer. I hope there's some massive, sounds like there's a massive overhaul that's probably warranted and should happen. And I hope something happens. Will it happen? That's the part that I don't know, remains to be seen. If you've got the supposed same people in power doing and appointing people into different positions and roles, probably makes it a bit harder, I guess. Here's this this interview that Kyle Stefanovic. Now it says, where is it? Cancelled. And this has actually been posted by Tommy, or it's from Tommy's thing. So cancelled the Tommy Robinson and Kyle Stefanovic podcast. They don't want you to, I presume, see. I think it's been taken down from Kyle Stefanovic's platforms. Why? I don't know. He should whack that back up on his Kyle Stefanovic show, seeing as he's not with Channel 9 anymore. Excuse me. And yeah, like, who are they to stop him from posting work that he's done? I believe they've mentioned he's been on annual leave during this time, and that he said he was going to be having interviews with people. He's on annual leave in the UK, and he's going to be catching up with people, conducting and doing content for his show. I believe he got the green light for it, until it seems you interview somebody that somebody in Australia doesn't like. And then because it may be affecting their, I don't know, their stock market price or whatever, people boycotting, wanting to boycott Channel 9, they then are holding crisis meetings because they don't like what it is that's happening, which is just, yeah, a crock of shit, if you ask me. What's this? In my opinion, Starmer left like Ardern did, left a mess, claim they're leaving for family. Just seems like a plant, big on talk, nothing on show, but a bigger mess. Yeah, 100%. I have no idea why Ardern left. I didn't pay much attention to politics in NZ while she was running the show. Actually, to be honest, I haven't paid much attention to politics since I've been here. This has probably been the most engaged in politics I've ever been in my life. And even then, that's, I would say, most engaged, and I'd use that term loosely. But I've definitely not watched or consumed content or information about government and politics, or nothing like this that I've ever done that I can recall in recent years. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe this is a start of me just having a laugh at the shenanigans that happen in politics, and just continuing to laugh at how people can promise one thing, get voted in, then change their position and think that, and not recognize or acknowledge how much they seem to be hated by the people in their country. And then Starmer finally come around to accepting defeat and resigning. And no doubt he's voiced an excuse as to why he's resigning. Family reasons? I didn't hear that, but if that's what he's saying, he's got to try to say something, to try to save face. The family reasons might be dad or Blinken brother or son, like, you need to resign now because you are Blinken running this country into the ground. So maybe that was the family reason. Let's have a look. Let's see how we go here.
One of Britain's most controversial public figures. For more than a decade, Tommy Robinson has been at the centre of debates around immigration, grooming, gangs, free speech and national identity. He's led protests and marches across the UK, campaign on what he says is a failure to tackle child sexual exploitation. Loved by supporters and condemned by critics, few figures have had a bigger impact on Britain's cultural wars. Strap yourselves in. Here's our chat with Tommy Robinson.
Tommy, great to talk with you, finally. I'm surprised you're not dead yet.
So am I.
Wow. What a way to start an interview, eh? I'm surprised you're not dead yet. that based on some of the stuff that I have seen where Tommy's very outspoken and things, especially with his push, not push, his calling out of certain ethnicities in areas, and I think he goes into that in this interview with Carl, talking about an area, or maybe it's the area where he grew up, I can't remember now, where that stuff was just rife and just happening and nothing was getting done about it. And the fact that here's a man that has tried to, and that is still continuing to fight the good fight to the best of his abilities, go in and try to make change. I believe, don't quote me on it, but I think I've seen or read somewhere that he's lost his wife as a result of like his efforts in this space. And that, bro, that's huge. Like, regardless of who you are, when you are like, you're just that focused and just 100% all in on something, so much so that sadly, and I don't know, it could have been due to any number of things, right? I'm making an assumption here that the stress, the pressure, maybe there's threats that are happening to the family, I don't know, but to go through that and you know, the marriage doesn't make it, doesn't survive, that's no small thing. So anyway, let's jump into this.
I didn't think I'd make it at 40. I'm 43. I'm not even joking.
You have tested. I know you're not.
No, I'm not joking.
You have tested the boundaries. I feel like it's got, you know, even harder for you in some ways, but also your message is finally getting out there. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is, because the media and the establishment had the monopoly on the message for so many years. They could tell people who I was, and people believed them. And now, thanks to Elon Musk, because there was a period 2017 to 2024, I was invisible. They deleted me. Delete me from everything. I mean, everything. You couldn't, if you went on Facebook and mentioned my name, they'd delete your post. I was put up as a figure of hate, and there's actually...
Wow. How does that, well, is that, there must be algorithmic bots or engineers or smart people that are putting things in place. What did he say? From 2017 to 2024, he was invisible. Going to social media. I think this is where he said, so maybe I heard it from here. I don't think I heard it from here, but I do remember hearing and seeing something whereby he referenced Elon Musk giving him the ability to be back on Twitter, or X as it's now known. But that's crazy. Hey, like, you post anything about, so it seems like if anybody mentioned Tommy Robinson's name, like, that post is gone. Just canceling somebody, like, not wiping them off or out of existence, but you know what I mean? Like, just making it so that they have no presence online from that space, from the social media space. I'm sure he still had his websites and all that sort of stuff, but pretty hard to get your message out there if you're utilizing social media and you're just, the algorithm picks up, oh, Tommy Robinson's name, flag that, yep, get rid of that, so that they get, or so that he gets no coverage at all.
There's actually an interview with a CEO of Facebook, and it's on Danish TV, and they're questioning him, because what happened was I was invited to Denmark, I spoke at Parliament, and then any of the politicians who mentioned my name, on the lead politicians from Denmark, they had their post deleted. So they're outraged, saying, how are we being censored? And then they literally got one of the CEOs from Facebook on an interview, and he said, yeah, you're not allowed to mention Tom Robinson. You're not allowed to mention him. He's a figure of hate. And then he said, alongside, and he named some gentlemen. So who's this?
Wow. Got somebody from Facebook. I'd love to see that interview, whoever the person is. Maybe that's been deleted now. But they got somebody from Facebook, and they said, yeah, you're not allowed to mention this guy. He's a figure of hate, they reckon. That's crazy.
Gentlemen, the bloke killed 5,000 people in a day, like some Serbian warlord. It's like, hello, I haven't broken any crimes. You haven't even convicted me of any hate speech, arrested me, or investigated me for anything to do with racism, hate, anything. Yet here I am, invisible, because you put me on level with somebody who murdered 5,000 people in one day because I use speech, because you don't agree with my free speech. And
so much for sticks and stones, eh? and the use of words. I mean, regardless of what people say and share, words are powerful. Words can and do hurt. Words can drive people from all ages, all backgrounds, to the point of feeling like there's no hope and taking their own lives. Like, sadly, you hear of those tragic stories, you see them, people make movies about them, whereby people, you know, sadly, young people with the exposure to these devices and messaging and bullying and all that sort of stuff, like, words do matter. Words do hurt. Words can cause people to go a rabbit hole or a path that they otherwise might not have, if words had been chosen a little bit more carefully. So, but even though they're powerful, the actions of what people are doing and what Tommy Robinson has been trying to stand up for and stand up against and highlight and bring to the attention of people that should be doing something about it is disappointing when it's just met with, okay, we're just going to censor that person, block them, not allowed to mention them. We're going to make sure that they're deleted no matter who mentions Tommy Robinson. So I think he said in this case, some Danish prime minister or Danish minister of their government or whatever. And then that post is just removed. So they're censoring politicians from other countries as well. And somebody from Facebook comes on and says, like, it'd be great if he has this link that shows the person from Facebook saying these words, but it probably did happen. I'm not saying that what he's saying isn't true, but it probably maybe that footage doesn't exist anymore.
And I state facts, not opinions, facts.
At some point, you decided to make a stand. Tell me a little bit about yourself, because I mean, Tommy Robinson isn't your name. No. So explain that to everyone in Australia.
So if you're sitting in Australia, you may think like I do, you may share my views, you may be concerned of immigration, you may be concerned of Islam, but I'm pretty sure you know what happens if you were to open your mouth. You probably sit in a good job, you have lots of bills, a decent family, you have a good life. Well, that was me. That was me in 2009. 2009, I owned 7 properties. I had a beautiful family. And then there was a Soldiers' Homecoming Parade, which was attacked in my hometown of Luton. It was attacked by a radical jihadist group who I've been following for many years to understand who they were.
A Soldiers' Homecoming Parade in his hometown, which was attacked by radical jihadists. Crazy. So hang on, just getting to Tommy Robinson isn't his real name. Okay. What is your name, bro?
And to anyone, if you don't understand Luton, see, I pronounce my T there. We don't pronounce our T's. I've done that for you.
How do you say it?
Luton. Bottle, water.
Luton, bottle. Luton, bottle.
Bottle of water. But it's Luton, yeah? But Luton is 30 miles north of where we're sitting now in London. Luton was the launch pad for the 7/7 bomb plot, the fertiliser bomb plot, the Stockholm suicide bomber, the limo bomb plot, the Luton army-based bomb plot. I could go on and on and on. Bomb plot.
It just sounds like one of the areas that the lads during the global war on terror would get an intelligence briefing on and go, here you go, lads, we need you to go into this known Taliban hotspot to conduct a kill capture mission on these players or these people. That's what Luton sounds like, or Luton. All these bomb plots and things happening there. Again, like what he's talking about, he says he speaks facts, not what do you say? Facts, not fiction or whatever. So if he's speaking facts right now, it sounds like this information, like this is here on the internet, right? So surely it's fairly easy to confirm or deny what it is that he's saying. All these different bomb plots, I'm not going to rewind to try to go back through them, but it just sounds like his hometown is just a hotspot for terrorist / criminal activity. So why that place wouldn't be a higher priority or have a much higher profile in terms of needing to go into that place and sort stuff out just seems strange to me.
Bomb plot, terrorism, jihad. Well, that's my hometown. And my hometown has a population of 200,000 and 33% of that population is Islamic. So all these problems have come from that one small town and put that across the whole of the UK. So I sort of like, Luton was a bomb blueprint for the rest of the UK. When I was born in 1982, we had 1 mosque, we now have 45. So I literally just started speaking. From 2009, I made a decision. After the Soldiers' Homecoming Parade, my cousin was a victim of the rape gangs when she was 13. What now everyone knows as the grooming gangs. Groups of Muslim men kidnapping English girls, raping them, and the police doing nothing. The authority, in fact, not just the police doing nothing, but the police co-opting and covering up for the gangs. Wow. Same with the council, same with the government. So I was born in that town. In 2009, I decided enough's enough, and we need to make a stand. And I started organising protests. I set up a group called United People of Luton. You just mentioned my name's Tom Robinson. At the time of doing that, I didn't want to lose the comfortable life I had. As I said, I got 7 properties. I was a young, successful entrepreneur. I had 2 businesses. I had a plumbing business.
Holy heck. So I didn't know any of this about this guy. So 1, I didn't know Tommy Robinson's not his real name. 2, it sounds like he said he had a beautiful family. So again, I think I had heard somewhere that it cost him his marriage in terms of what he's doing these days. But I had no idea how, 7 investment properties, I think he said. I think I just heard him say he had 2 businesses. Like this, if you're talking about putting stuff on the line, like putting it on the line to go all in on your passion and do something that you believe in, this is just another one of those examples, man, as far as I'm concerned, based on what I'm hearing right now. Let me just rewind this a bit.
Got 7 properties. I was a young, successful entrepreneur. Had 2 businesses. I had a plumbing business, employing 6 people, turning over hundreds of thousands a year. I didn't want to lose it all. And I was aware from growing up in Luton, I'm from a working class background. Luton's a rough town. It's a very rough town. But I was aware of the level of violence you'd face from the Islamic community the minute you open your mouth. Because 2009, I'd done it previously in 2004 locally. I organised my first ever protest in 2004 called Ban the Luton Taliban. The consequence of that was every Islamic, Pakistani, jihadi, drug gang, grooming gang, every one of them, I was a target for them. And then I spent years
Ban the Luton Taliban. Yeah, I mean, if 33% of your population in your little hometown where he's from that he mentioned is from those areas, yeah, the kahunas to go and organize, firstly, protests like that. Those that show up to it, good on them. But yeah, obviously he was well aware that this is potentially gonna may cook off with something here, which we don't necessarily want to get involved in. But man, like, you've got these businesses, you've got staff that you employ, you've got properties, you've got a family. That's a lot of weighing things up for anybody. I don't care who you are, where you're from, weighing all of that up to be doing something that is, when I'm listening to this, super high risk to him, super high risk to his family, super high risk to his extended family, his friends, his employees. Massive risks to his businesses, in terms of those businesses, being targeted, like everybody, like the things that I just spoke about, being targeted as a result of him going in on what it is that he believes. Like, doesn't sound like racism to me. Sounds like somebody who's gone, enough is enough. I've had a gutful of this. I think he mentioned his niece was a victim of these rape gangs or grooming gangs or whatever they're called. Bloody dirtbags.
much fighting them. Come forward 2009, I thought, you know what? I want change. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to wear a mask and use a different name. So I was you, the person sitting at home, who don't want to talk about it but thinks it. And I was, I guess, I say sometimes we created a generation of cowards. I was that coward because I was scared. But I wanted to see change. And then I realised with the Soldiers Homecoming Parade, Scott Muntridge was 26. He died from our town training for that regiment, the regiment that was attacked by the Muslims. Michael Swain was 19. He lost his legs. So these were strong points for us and a lot of feeling around it. So the fact that these soldiers were attacked, it wasn't the fact they were attacked, because we know who this Islamic group called Al-Mujahideen, and I pronounce it wrong every time, bunch of Islamic scumbags, they are now a prescribed terrorist organisation. 60% of Muslims in prison for terrorism, ex-members of their group. But for decades, they were set up every week in my town. No one stopped them. Islamic community didn't stop them. It took us forming. We formed a group and stopped them. And because we formed a group to clash with them, the government then prescribed them. Now this group are gone because they're all on terrorist lists and they're all not allowed to do anything. But why did it take what it took?
I was just going to say, why, if that area with all those things that he just described earlier, bomb plot, terrorism, etc., why does it take a local group, a family person, from what I could hear, business owner, why does it take him or these people to form a group to stand against what they're seeing and what they're making clear, or what they're making public is happening? And if it wasn't happening, why then would it be supported, and then this group that he's talking about be designated a terrorist group and be banned, blah, blah, blah? Why does it take that? What are the police doing? What are the authorities doing? That's mind-blowing to me. Like, I don't know all the details or the ins and outs. I'm sure there's a heck of a lot more, and I'm conscious of the fact that he's likely trying to get through as much as he can. I think he's still trying to get to the point where he answers the part. Maybe he's not going to give his real name, and fair enough if he isn't. But that was the question. From what I remember, Tommy Robinson isn't your real name, and now he's giving us this context and background to what he was doing, mentioning that, you know, he wanted to see change, but he didn't want to come out there. And like from that perspective, I understand the context now, why he didn't want to come out and why, you know, he's maybe using a different name. I don't know that using a different name like Tommy Robinson really matters that much when he's showing his face. So, but I think he did mention that he was wearing a mask and stuff before. And, but now, you know, maybe the Tommy Robinson pseudonym has just stuck. So maybe that's just how he rolls. And yeah, maybe we'll never know his real name.
Why didn't they do this anyway? Why didn't the Islamic community? I just met with some Muslims this week, and they tried telling me that they challenged them, and it's all nonsense. You've done nothing. None of you's done anything. The government done nothing. Finsbury Park, we had that clown with a hook. He was part of that group. We had all of them just terrorising our country for decades.
You know,
they're doing it now in Australia. I see it, and they use your speech laws. They use the free speech laws. But what they're doing is inciting terrorism.
We picked something up from you for the show actually on X. You know, a guy who had raped a woman, and over here in this side of the world, in your country, these, you know, the rape inquiry is completely and utterly shocked me to my core, and I don't understand why it's not, you know, a national crisis. I don't know why government isn't moving heaven and earth to eradicate the issue.
Well, that rape inquiry is just showing everyone what I've known, what I've been fighting for since I've come to.
So on that point, they tried to shut you up. You did a bit of time in the big house. You came out and you re-engage. Are you inspired to come out of prison and keep?
What's he in? He's done some time in the big house. What did he do? Is it for the protesting and violence? I'm guessing clashes.
Keep going.
So they put me in jail 5-6 times, different times, and I'll be honest, some of those times have messed me up. 2017, probably the worst. I went into jail, one person, come out another.
What do you mean?
I mean, I spent, and it doesn't seem like long. On that one, I've done 22 weeks on solitary confinement. That one there, I've done 14 weeks on solitary confinement. The most recent one, I've just done 7 months on solitary confinement. And I like to say I'm good company. Yeah?
Solitary confinement. By yourself, in your own thoughts, no interaction with anybody else. Maybe 1 hour, and I don't know what it's like in the UK, but maybe 1 hour per day where you get to have yard time, and maybe, if you're lucky, see the sun. That I am aware of, you know, the solitary confinement and those sorts of things that happen in prison systems, typically for people that are serving real hard crime offenses, like people that have, you know, murder, basically, real, you know, some very dark type offenses. You don't normally get, well, I wouldn't imagine that you normally get that sort of period of time. I think it's 22 weeks, 14 weeks, 7 months of solitary confinement, just being on your own with 1 hour potential exercise / walking around yard time per day for that whole time, for that whole period, unless you've done something really seriously wrong. So unless he's blinking cooked off at one of these protests or rallies that he's organized, I don't know, maybe he has, maybe that's what he's going to talk about. But if it's not for something super serious, like, you know, just blinking devastating, tragic, disgusting, gross, like murder or rape or that sort of thing, then I wonder what he's done to warrant that level of punishment, if that makes sense. Fair enough, if they want to send him to prison. I think he said he's been sent to prison 4, 5, 6 times. Be interested to know what those are for. And it sounds like he's just been in solitary confinement like that. That will mess with a lot of people, regardless, or if not anyone, solitary confinement for long periods of time in a place like that, in an environment like that. Chosen solitary confinement when you're not in a prison is a different story. Like, that can be very peaceful when you're on your own and in your own thoughts and, you know, doing what you want to do, and you have the freedom to come and go and do it as you see fit. When you're in a prison environment and you don't have those freedoms and they're restricted, well, then it's likely a different story altogether.
I'm not that good company, right? Just to sit in a bloody box on my own looking at the wall all day. Like, all right, this is getting pretty boring.
Wow. You know, everywhere we travel with the Carl Stefanovic Show, we hear the same thing. It's hard to employ people in Australia. It's where they like the slot pays for it.
Skip.
That's that complex. It takes 4 years.
Sorry.
but what they done on the last one, this is the insanity of it. The last one, I made a documentary. I made a film.
Yeah.
Now, lots plays into this. Where we're sitting now, you just said they've tried to shut me up. How's that going for them? I sit there and laugh sometimes. I think the entire power of the British state, the entire power of the media, you wanted the world to hate me. It hasn't worked. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm not just still here, but I'd say my voice is elevated around the globe, and not just my voice. Tommy Robinson become a symbol. So yes, my name's Stephen Lennon, real name, actually Lennon, if you want to play it that way. But become a symbol. So yes, my name's Stephen Lennon, real name, actually Lennon, if you want to play it.
Wow, Stephen Lennon is his real name. I didn't think we were going to get to hearing his real name. Okay, but known by Tommy Robinson. I'll probably forget his real name, Stephen Lennon. Stephen Lennon. Okay, Tommy Robinson is AKA Stephen Lennon, or Stephen Lennon is AKA Tommy Robinson. Anyway, man, where are we? Sorry, actually. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, I let it see a little speech bubble thing here on the side. There's some stuff on here. Apologies. Bigger mess. So that was the last one on Ardern. There's rabbit holes if you feel like it. Wouldn't pay a builder who goes off doing his own thing. Reckon PM should be the same. That's from Poeticus. Jeffrey Dawson. He actually makes sense when 4 times speed. The king is a Buddhist. The king introduced secular mindfulness as a prince, though through a Welsh university. The UK is open. Okay, I don't know, bro. Tommy Robinson, a Israeli spy, effing dog, Israel, and then a poo emoji from Tom Jones is back. Dave to buy. Dave Toby, 4444. Tommy is a legend. Jason C. Sounds like Tommy had a reason for some anger issues. Yeah, we've probably all got anger issues, eh? I've probably got some. Poeticus, sort of similar to the massacre in Christchurch. We had all the info, but purposely looked away. But that's another rabbit hole in itself. Wow. Yeah, that was a tragedy, eh? The massacre in Christchurch and the mosque stuff that happened there. And I'm pretty sure I saw, like, obviously after the fact, I saw the footage while we were still in Perth that got posted on Facebook or whatever, as the dude, I think, was live streaming it. Crazy. Like, I saw it after. I didn't see it as it was happening. At the end of the day, it didn't matter when somebody saw it. It was bloody horrendous. Anyway, for people to see or to watch. What's this? Unlike you, he attaches to a symbol, the crown, queen, and country. Okay, he attaches to crown, queen, and country. He attaches to a symbol. I'm not sure what you mean, but maybe it'll come out later on in this interview or through other stuff as I watch what it is that he does. But yeah, okay. Cheers, Jeffrey Dawson. 5430. Unlike you, attaches to a symbol, the crown, queen, and country. It was a good interview, but it's hard to tell if these poms are on cocaine or not. He certainly rubs his nose. Holy heck! I didn't even pick up on that. That's an interesting take, bro. He certainly rubs his nose a lot. We would have once upon a time put him in a mental institution. I mean, he is an outlier. Yeah, probably. It sounds like without the mental institution, it sounds like they tried to shut him up by putting him in prison. not once, but several times from what I'm listening to. Anyway, as he's talking right now. Oh, it's this Stephen Nutjob t-shirt. How's this? Come on, civilian values. Stephen ? Nutjob t-shirt. Come on, civilian values. I'm not sure what you mean. Stephen, is that you mean his name? Stephen Lennon? Did I hear it wrong? I thought that's what he said. Stephen Lennon. Where are we? What's up with his t-shirt? It's got the coat of arms. Got his crown on there. Is that maybe that's what you're referring to? Nut job t-shirt. Come on, civilian values. Okay, yeah, cool. Like, I mean, I think Kyle Stefanovic said it at the start, or maybe he said it. Maybe this guy Tommy Robinson said it. There's going to be people that hate him, and people that love him, and then other people that are just, I don't know, maybe neither here nor there. What I think from my take, can't say that I love or hate him. I think that if he has outed and highlighted child sexual activity, child sexual exploitation, which has been happening, and people that were in positions to do something about it didn't do anything about it, and he's outed them, I think that's great. Like, I love that part. Hopefully those people get held to account just as much as those that committed the crimes against the young people. So that would be my take. Crown and country. The Crown, Queen and country, Crown and country. Okay, Crown and country. All good. Man, it would be cool, eh? Maybe, is there a platform whereby, oh, maybe it's just all chat, say. It'd be cool if there was a platform whereby people can actually talk. Maybe I'll end up, but I have, whoever's hosting it has the power to just mute somebody in case they just keep talking over me and drowning me out. I don't know if there's platforms like that whereby people can like actually talk and have voice additions, because it's probably just me. It can give a bit more context, I think, and color to what people are saying or trying to get across, rather than me trying to decipher some of the comments and then probably getting it wrong or stuffing it up. But anyway, let's crack back on with this.
But Tommy Robinson becomes a symbol of resistance, because it isn't just me they attacked. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people like Tommy Robinson who.
Sorry, that's right. I have got this on 1.25 speed because I was watching other videos before, and so if it sounds like he's talking extra fast, that'll be my fault. But it seems like he talks pretty fast anyway, so I probably didn't need to speed it up. Oh, and what are we? Absolutely, there are courts to what he argues. Absolutely, there are courts to what he argues. Yeah, that's choice idea, like Zoom, but not. Yeah, like Zoom, but not. So I don't know. The tech person out there can design that. I would use it just so that, I think it's cool. Like, then I get to hear other accents too around the world. If there are other people talking away, but people have got thoughts, opinions different to mine, without me trying to run a radio show or anything like that, like what Shubs is doing with his show. That's awesome. But yeah, like, I think it'd be cool. Anyway, patriotic, love my Aussie flag t-shirt with see you in the NT. Love it, Jace. Yep, that's cool. Yep. Patriotism's awesome. Like, regardless of which country people come from, man, represent your country to the best of your ability. Like, preferably not like a dickhead, but if you hundies with your country and what you stand for, your flag, your t-shirt, however you want to represent that, as long as it's not hurting anybody or, that sort of thing, that's my take anyway, then fill your boots, go for it. And if it's got some funny humor on it as well, that t-shirt, see you in the NT, I like it. Patreon can do that. I'm not on it, but it helps with that stuff. Oh, okay. I do know, have heard of Patreon. I thought people were using Patreon for Zoom stuff though. Like, I get it. Yeah, Zoom call. Like what Poeticus has said, like Zoom, but not. But if Patreon facilitate that, that's interesting. So maybe I'll have a look. If other people know of any other ideas, send it through. Obviously, Teams is a thing, but that's, just a platform where I can go to. And if that's Patreon, so I'll have a look. I haven't had a look at that, to be honest. Yeah, and then maybe I run live streams there. And if people want to come over to that space and, add your voice rather than having to bloody type it out, whether you're using a keyboard or whether you're using your thumbs or whether you're using one finger. I know there's some of you out there that send your text messages still with one finger and or with one thumb. Some of you that are super fast use two thumbs. But yeah, I think it could be helpful anyway in terms of people, just having conversations with stuff during the lives. Anyway.
Been scared into silence, who have been deplatformed, who have lost their jobs. So a lot of people feel when they see me take the hit, but I'm taking the hit for them. Even if they don't agree 100% with what I'm saying, they think he's saying it. Yeah. And so we've had all these years. 2017, I started in 2009, led a street protest movement till 2014. We were pretty lively, right? We were young Englishmen, full of testosterone. which many men aren't now. Get some testosterone in you, lads, right? Get it up, right?
Get it
Because
up.
you're all becoming women. So get some testosterone in you and become men again.
That's crack up. I like that. But what did he say? Because get some testosterone into you, men, because they're all becoming women. Bloody hell. That's a good comment. I guess, was it that's probably one of those things that some men or some people don't like, or maybe even transgender people, maybe they don't like it. Each to their own. I think that's funny. Excuse me. And if people get offended by it, well, then just don't watch him. Don't watch or listen to the stuff that he puts up. Like, it's your choice. You're offended? Well, you've chosen to be offended, right? You bloody clown. Snap out of it. Just go watch something else.
But we were young men, Englishmen, and we were of the mindset, well, we used to say, prepared for peace, ready for war, death, prison or glory, we won't submit. So we had all these different sayings when we started. Now, these were sayings of young men. As I said, I was 24. And I'd seen so much.
Wow.
And the only attitude, I'm telling you, the only...
Wow. So he's been at this for a long time. He was 24 then. He's 43 now. He didn't think he'd live to see 40. Karl Stefanovic said, I thought you'd be dead, or something like that. I'm surprised you're still alive, or words to that effect. 24 he's been. So maybe he started before then, but the time that he's just described, excuse me, he said he was 24, like successful, got all that stuff going on. That is putting everything on the line, man. Like your family, your life, your staff's lives, your businesses, your finances, like people close to you. And people might look at that and go, well, he's so selfish, right? He's so selfish doing that. Like, he's risking his family's life. He's risking his staff's lives. They don't need to associate with him. They could leave and walk away and not be there. The comment or the excuse might be, well, I've got to pay the bills. Well, hey, like, make a decision and a choice. If you've got to pay your bills, you can go find another job. You can find another way to pay your bills if you have to. This is something that he believes in, and he's going all in for himself by the sounds of things. And he's been all in for a long period of time. Like I said, I've only just found out about this guy recently. And on the back end of seeing Karl Stefanovic do an interview, not that I've seen this interview yet, and then I have seen bits and pieces, snippets, I think, shorts that have been made, and then seeing Karl get the sack from Channel 9 as a result, which is just crazy. 24, he's been at this since he was 24. He's now 43.
attitude you can have with the Islamic community is not that, right? It is that we're not backing down, right? You're not going to scare us. They don't try and scare me anymore when I see them in the street, because they know if you want, I'll come straight at you. Yeah, if you want, I don't want it, right? But once they know that, I get them shake my hand. I have their gangsters come up to me in Luton and grab my hand and shake it.
It's interesting. He's got people coming and shaking his hand. But what stands out to me there, what he just spoke about, he's not looking for confrontation. He's not looking for a fight. If they come at him, like, he's going to stand his ground and move towards them, which is cool. I think that's cool. I think anybody should stand their ground. Be prepared to engage, like to defend yourself. But if that's not what you're looking for, it's a completely different story. If you're there in a peaceful protest, or with the intent to talk and get your point across without resulting or without coming to violence, then I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, isn't that a good thing? To have differences of opinion, to be challenged, to then be questioned, to provide answers to those questions, and or acknowledge when you're wrong. I think the vast majority of people, myself included, and I probably fail at this too, but I think the vast majority of people, if not everyone, will be very quick to say to you or to me, myself included in this, like, I'll own it if I'm wrong. Like, if I've got that wrong, I'll own it. I'll apologize. I'll say this, that, and the other. Easier said than done. Like, seriously, it is easier said than done, depending on the context, the situation, where it happens, who it's with, blah, blah, blah. And you see examples of that all the time. Sometimes maybe you see examples of that in your own life. I know, and I can think of times where I've found that extremely hard to do. And I have been resistant to doing it when I should have done it sooner rather than later, you know? So the words sound nice though, eh? the words sound awesome. Like, oh wow, that guy's good to go. Like you can trust him. He's gonna own it when he does something wrong, and he's gonna apologize, and he's gonna learn from that and do this, that, and the other. Blah blah blah. All those words sound really good until it's time to where the rubber meets the road, and it's time to actually implement those things. You see examples of that in government and ministers. They struggle to take ownership of the words that they say and the things that they say that they're going to do, but then they do backflips on and they don't do them. They can't find it to just go, I stuffed up. Like, I apologize about that. I made a mistake. I think, like, going back to the comment that somebody put in my comments on YouTube about Kyle Stefanovic, that he's done a lot to try to make amends. Some people say too little, too late, with regards to Kyle's position that he had and his influence on media when it came to COVID-19 and vaccinations and all that sort of stuff, and pushing and saying people need to get it. And he's since done a backflip on that. Like, that's not an easy thing to do. Like, especially when you're pushing a narrative so hard and for so long. And if it's something that you do believe in, it can be very hard to do a backflip on. If it's something that you've just lied about to get elected, like the fire the liar over there in Australia, well then, I've not seen that weasel muster up the courage to acknowledge that he lied, and because he knows it would be even more devastating to him and probably the Labour Party. But yeah, crazy. Easier said than done is what I'd say about that. And it's interesting hearing him talk about these guys here coming up and shaking his hand.
Yes, I don't like you, Tommy, but I do respect you. I don't like you, but I respect you. You stand on your values. Now, they don't recognise anything but that. So Donald Trump, they'll respect. Keir Starmer, they'll jump all over him. They'll run amok. Right? They only understand strongmen. So when we
Keir Starmer, actually, I think I forgot to talk about that twat, that little weasel in the earlier live this afternoon. What a yeah, probably not worth talking about the blood ball bag. Sorry. Where are we? Poeticus, think it was a previous Middle Eastern leader who said our retaliation will be over time as we see fit. Could argue that's what we see with the UK, Aussie, with militias. One of the things that, if you're talking about the potential terrorists and that sort of stuff in different countries and or around the world, I do recall, I can't remember who said it, but I do think there was a group or person part of a terrorist group that said our biggest asset, or maybe it was for the friendly forces, saying that the terrorist biggest asset is they've got time. Like, they can just wait and wait and wait and wait some more. And then out of nowhere, bang, massive catastrophe happens, and people lose their lives. So it is interesting, the times that we live in, the positions for the positioning and jockeying for power and influence, and people, I don't know, trying to put themselves into positions to do some stupid stuff. Like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Like the Christchurch attack, like that one. Was it the one on that island? Was it Norway or something like that? Sorry if I got the country wrong. Some country overseas anyway, whereby I think the guy went onto an island and started shooting all the students, killed a whole bunch of students on this island that you had to get to by boat. The only way to get to it by boat or helicopter or whatever. I forget the bloody catastrophe that happened over there too, and some survivors and stuff that got out of that. But some lone dude that will weigh in. There's going to be more and more stuff that will happen around the place, unfortunately. And it's just one of those things. Like, I agree with that comment. Any terrorist organizations or cells, no matter where they are in the world, one of their biggest assets is time. They can just wait and wait and wait some more, and then when they're ready, something will cook off. What do we got here? Sorry, Jeffrey Dawson, the UK emblem on his shirt as per Māori geometric art or as per gender, or those confused by symmetry. Embrace asymmetry. Asymmetry can incorporate symmetry, but symmetry cannot incorporate asymmetry. Bro, I'm not here for blinking tongue twisters, man. or riddles. Just real simple English for this hoary from here on the East Coast. But give it to me in layman's terms. AWOL Stu, I reckon if one, what the hell's that word? NSTION gets in, I'll put in a good word for you guys across the Dutch. Maybe we could invade you in a good Poeticus. Steve Jeffries, Tommy Bloody Robinson, he's a loon of the highest order. Crack up. Jason C. Didn't know you could write ditch with a Kiwi accent. Ditch, across the ditch. Sorry, I went on to learn to read and write after being a military cook. Double degree in sociology and anthropology. Well, see, there you go. I can understand that. Bloody awesome, man. Going on and further education and all that sort of stuff. That's excellent. Yeah, no, I've not been that way inclined, as you can tell. Anyway, let's get back to here. Steve Jeffries, welcome to the chat, bro. Thanks for your comments. Reference Tommy Bloody Robinson. He's a loon of the highest order, you say here.
In 2009, we attracted many young men from across the UK who, let's just say, were fed up because what was happening in our town was happening in every town and weren't going to be beaten in submission because most people were just beaten in submission. So we were a lively group. We got forward to 2014. Lots happened in those 4 years. 6 Muslims failed. You've seen the film 4 Lines. So they got there 2 hours late to blow us up. Guns, bombs, suicide vests, IEDs, everything, yeah? And then they get to where we were 2 hours late. And there's a video of them walking through this empty square like absolute fucking retards. Walking through an empty square. They've got a car boot full of all this suicide stuff. And no one's there to kill. Yeah? No one's there to kill because they got there late. And then on their way home, they run out of petrol. On their way home, they run out of petrol. No, they got pulled over on their way home. They got pulled over for no insurance. So the police pull them over for no insurance. They don't search the boot. So they compound the car. 2 days later, the compound company opened the boot. They find all these guns and bombs and everything. They're like, and then the police come see me and say, look, there's a big case coming. They were trying to get me through my phone. So they're trying to track my phone. I went to their court case. And there's 19 of them. I say them. There's the 6.
Holy heck. This just sounds like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, it sounds like a movie. Did he say that this is a documentary or a movie? Did you see the documentary? What was the documentary? Hang on, let me go back. Let's see. I think he asked if this is a documentary, I want to watch it. Where is he?
Full of all this suicide stuff. Then IEDs. Seen the film forward to 2014. Lots happened in those 4 years. 6 Muslims failed. Have you seen the film 4 Lines?
The film, 4 Lines. Film 4 Lines. Hang on, where's my bloody pen? Where's my pen? Film 4 Lines. Got a scrap bit of paper here. Robinson. Film. What's this at? 12 minutes, 22 seconds. Film 4 Lines. 12 minutes, 22 seconds in. Is it 12 minutes, 22? Yep. 12, 22 seconds in. I want to see that film. That's crazy. I wonder if it's standard operating procedure for police if they pull people over and they're going to impound a vehicle to search the boot, to search the trunk of said vehicle that you might be pulling over. Maybe it is now. Maybe that's one of the lessons learned that's come out of the film 4 Lines. Crazy. Sorry. Where are we? Every time I hear a South African talk, I confuse them with a strong Kiwi accent. That's live calling a Canadian a Yankee. Forgive me, please. It's like calling a bottle of water. Bottle of water. Yeah, I think he's saying from Luton, where he's from. They don't pronounce their T's. Bottle of water. Lads. Crack up. All right. Let's come back to this. So there's a movie, 4 Lines, and what I've heard so far, a group of terrorists that were looking to go to a protest rally that this guy Tommy Robinson had organised, but they got there 2 hours too late, so they had nobody to shoot and or blow up. They got pulled over by police, from what I've heard, in this little retail here, and they impound the car. They don't search the boot. It's not until whoever, I forget who he said, we'll hear it soon, does a search, checks the boot, and then finds weapons, explosives, and all that sort of stuff in the boot. Holy heck.
So they got there 2 hours late to blow us up. Guns, bombs, suicide vests, IEDs, everything, yeah? And then they get to where we were 2 hours late. And there's a video of them walking through this empty square like absolute fucking retards. Walking through an empty square. They've got a car boot full of all this suicide stuff. And no one's there to kill. No one's there to kill because they got there late. And then on their way home, they run out of petrol. On their way home, they run out of petrol. No, they got pulled over on their way home. They got pulled over for no insurance. So they compound the car. 2 days later, the compound company opened the boot. They find all these guns and bombs and everything.
Right, okay. Compound company, or the people that have impounded the vehicle, I guess, open the boot. You would have thought, surely it's something that happens now, but you would think anywhere, in any country, if the police are going to impound a vehicle, or in any maybe Western country, if they're going to impound a vehicle, it's not insured or whatever, surely you would expect them, the police, to ask the drivers to, you mind opening the boot so we can have a look?
They're like, and then the police come to see me and say, look, there's a big case coming. They were trying to get me through my phone, so they're trying to track my phone. I went to their court case, and there's 19 of them. I say them. There's the 6 on trial, and then there's 19 of their family members. And
I was just going to say, 19. I thought he said there was just a handful of, you're not fitting 19 people into a car. Or maybe for a comedy skit you might, but so there's 19, 6 on trial. All right.
Supporters, all these big bearded jihadists. And we're at the Old Bailey, and they only let me and my cousin in. I've gone to their court case, and we're on the back row, and they're all in front of us, and then they're getting sentenced. The case was quite funny, yeah, because they're looking up porn on their phone. So they're going through all their Google searches, yeah? And the days before they're searching pornography and that. These big jihadists. So I'm sitting there laughing my head off. But then they get.
I think that probably explains the what's it? The grooming gangs and the bloody rape gangs or whatever they're bloody called, if that's what they're doing.
30 years. I'm trying to think, what can I say that won't get me done for contempt of court? So when they get their sentences, I was like, God save the Queen, like that. And then it all just kicks off, man. It all just kicks off. And then they all turn around and we're kicking them off the back of the road. But all the jihadists, there's 90.
That'll be one way to arc people up, to get them angry. 30 years, 30-year sentences. That's that's good. 30 years, but again, at taxpayers' costs for people over there in the UK funding these terrorists that were planning, 30 years. Far out. Good that they've been sentenced that long, but I just think, do you need to keep them around for 30 years? Like if it's been proven, this is just me, if it's been proven beyond reasonable doubt, which it sounds like it has, and they've all got 30 years each, that their intent was to go and attend a rally. They got a vehicle full of explosives, suicide vests, guns, and whatever else they had. So I assume guns with bullets. They're going to go in and shoot as many people as they can, take out as many as they can with the guns. This is what I'm thinking what their plan must have been. And then Lincoln, Allah Akbar, and then clack themselves off when authorities come there to try to take them out. Why not just get rid of them? Call me stupid or racist or whatever, but that just seems like 30 years is a life sentence, right? Like, why don't you save yourself some money and the taxpayers some money and lethal injection or something instead, so you don't need to worry about them. Anyway, I think about that, the potential for them to still influence other people, have the next generation of people coming through to follow in their footsteps. Or maybe it might put them off and go, actually, I don't think I want to spend 30 years in prison. Who knows? Maybe it might have the counter effect, but they're clearly very good at recruiting. They're clearly very good at indoctrinating people to go out and just indiscriminately kill innocent people. People there demonstrating peacefully in other areas, and they seem to have no issue doing that and claiming it as part of their religion or belief or whatever, which is, is rubbish as far as I'm concerned. But 30 years, why add any more burden to the taxpayer system and or indeed to the prisons if you've found guilty beyond reasonable doubt people that were looking to intentionally commit a crime like that? Imagine if it had happened. Would you still be giving, I suppose you probably still would, because the UK and other Western countries, as far as I'm aware, don't have a death penalty. But crazy, eh? Imagine that if the guys achieved what they wanted to, and when it came time for them to clack themselves off because they didn't want to be taken, they maybe didn't dead up their vest properly, and they survived. And then they were taken, arrested, went on trial, convicted, and then, maybe they'd be given 100 years or whatever at that stage. But still, I don't know. Yeah, I've spoken about death penalties and stuff before. Shared my thoughts and opinions on certain crimes where, I think it'd probably be a good thing. Where are we? Noise. If you take out the Paki sect, the whites will be next. So don't arrest them, maybe. Don't arrest who? Don't 30 years. 30 years, Gov. What's that? If you take out the Paki sect, the whites will be next. So don't arrest them. So don't arrest them, maybe. Sorry, bro, what do you mean don't arrest? Don't arrest the Pakis, or? And what do you mean by if you take out the Paki sect, the whites will be next? You mean the whites will be next to do something like that, or? Not even sure if you're still on there. Anyway, I might have been talking so long, he might have gone, this fella hasn't even read my comments, so I'm going to move on now. Anyway.
Even if I'm in court, we've got our backs to the wall. All hell's going off. Yeah, all hell's going off. This case goes on, they get 30 years. 6 months later, I'm taken to court where when I started the English Defence League, they went back through 6 years of every member of my family. Every finance with every bank, everything, yeah? They pulled me through. They got members of my family on tax and things like this, and then they struck me a deal to plead guilty. If I plead guilty, they drop everyone. So I pled guilty, right? So I land in jail. I get, what I get?
Wow. If you plead guilty, they drop everything. Tax and stuff. Who's organising that? I mean, he must have done something that wasn't right, or stuff that wasn't right. Why they've been able to pull that up. Plead guilty. What was it? Plead guilty, you don't go to jail, or plead guilty and go to jail and we drop everything? What's the?
They pulled me through. They got members of my family on tax and things like this, and then they struck me a deal to plead guilty. If I plead guilty, they drop everyone. So I pled guilty, right? So I land in jail.
Excuse me, if I heard right, he's saying they got members of his family on tax and things. So they are being members of his family are being charged and potentially going to have to go to jail unless he pleads guilty. Then they drop the charges against his family. That's how I've interpreted it anyway.
Okay, what I get? I get 18 months. So I land in jail. I'm in jail, and I go on to the first night saying, I'm in a maximum security prison for a paper offence. Yeah? I'm in a maximum security prison. And then an officer knocks on my door, opens up my door, and says, when they come to get you, don't leave the cell. I said, what? He said, your life depends on it, son. Don't leave the cell. I said, okay. So I think, what the hell's going on? And then so they come to get me 2 hours later. 3 prison officers with him said, come on, you're going on A-wing. I said, I ain't going anywhere, mate. He goes, if you don't go anywhere, we're going to make an arrest. You're going to be detained in the cell and put on isolation. So I thought, okay, sound. And then they put me down in isolation. Next day I go for a legal meeting. I go for my legal meeting. I'm sitting. There's all clear rooms. See that glass? Clear room. I'm sitting there. Who am I looking at? I'm looking at the 6 jihadists who just got 30 years, and they're looking at me, and I'm looking, and they're like, what the fuck? Tommy Robinson's here.
They would have been thinking it's Christmas. That little weasel that we were wanting to try to get at the protest, now he's here in prison with us. They would have been there. I bet their eyes bloody lit up.
He just come live. They're all looking at me. I'm looking at them. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble, man. But there's all glass blocking us. So we go from this, and I have my legal meeting, and then I finish my legal meeting, and I'm like, okay, they're in here. And that's where they were taking me to A-wing. So when I go back, but from there, I get taken to the waiting room. There's a waiting room, say, probably as big as...
So the guards, sounds like guards who come in. A guard, sounds like a good guard, came along first and told him, they come to take you, don't go anywhere. Your life depends on it, son. And so he listens. Then some other guards come and say, come on, we're going to A-wing, and he refuses. So he doesn't end up in A-wing, which is crazy, which is where, from what he's saying, those 6 jihadists that had just been given 30 years each were based. It's just the corruption and stuff, everywhere, no matter what organization people are in, there is just, man, this is the world we live in, so much corruption and stuff, regardless of where people are, what they do. And I think that's just always going to be the case. Maybe a pessimistic way of looking at it, but I don't know how you solve it, how you get rid of those people, because we assume that they've gone through a process which is supposed to be based on integrity, person's skill, competency, etc., recruitment, all that sort of thing, security checks as and when required to get to a stage of trust. And then, there's no you can't control what goes on through people's minds when they may be presented with, I don't know, whether it's money, whether it's the opportunity to progress up a ladder, whether it's threats, maybe they've been, what's the word, extorted? Is that the right word? Oh, and you fellas with bloody degrees and stuff out there, or being not bribed, bloody hell, ransom? Nah, ransom's not that's when somebody's kidnapped, and then you hold them for ransom. Extortion. I'm going to run with extortion, whereby people are bloody, maybe somebody's got something on them, and if they don't do what it is that they've been told to do, then they're going to let that information out. And then once they've done that bad thing that they weren't supposed to do, well, then now they can't go back, because now they've got that other thing that they were being extorted on, and now they've already done a bad thing. So then it just snowballs and escalates and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense what I'm trying to say. Let's carry on here, listening to what this was saying.
Is this room? They take me to the waiting room, the prison officers do. They open up the door. As soon as they open up the door, I see beards. I mean, okay. So, and they were looking like, they didn't know I was coming either. These Muslims, it weren't those 6, it was some more Muslims. And then they locked the door. And I didn't sit down, so I knew what was coming. And then we just fight. I get my teeth all smashed in. That's why I've got these beautiful teeth. Look. Courtesy of hate.
Imagine RS, RS being put in a prison. Well, he did go to prison for however long he was in prison for, until he got bail, and then putting him in a Muslim, or a Muslim focused cell or area with a group of people like that. Nuts. Crazy. And if something like that did happen, and if something bad happened, it'd probably just get swept under the carpet. Thankfully, nothing like that did happen. But yeah, just crazy. It's cool that there was, at least by the sounds of things, what Tommy has shared here, that there was at least one, sounds like one good officer or corrections officer who gave him a heads up and said, do not, whatever you do, your life depends on it. Do not go anywhere when they come to take you out of the cell. Just stay here. Imagine if he didn't listen to that. Oh, sorry. Where are we? Freddie. After the Second World War, all our country sang in a bloody Yankee accent. We're no better, I guess. Jason C. was to stop the release of a documentary. They just looked for things to get on his family. Oh, okay, was to stop the release of a documentary. So they, I mean, like, look at that, It's and I don't know. So I wonder if that documentary, whatever it is that they were looking to stop, is out now, or maybe it's not out. But you just, like anybody, if your family has been, people come to you and say, we're going to do this to your family unless you plead guilty to this. Crazy that, that influence, that power, the people that are executing that, clearly those that are issuing and carrying out that type of stuff are neck deep in crap that they shouldn't be as well. And yeah, it's a shame, that's sort of where it seems like our world is everywhere, has that sort of level of corruption and just deceit and evilness, I guess, is the word that comes to mind. Where are we? Rabbit holes are quite real, eh? Yeah, 100%. Blackmailed. That's the word. Charlie 29. Thank you. Yeah, you read my mind, and I just got to your response now. Paki are the worst of those that take positions in UK, according to UK citizens. I've worked in Mayfair for the Ramsey a-hole. Today, every day is a climb up Mount Eden. Okay. Paki are the worst take positions. Are you talking about taking positions in like the community, member of parliament and local councils and that sort of thing? I'm assuming. Jason, documentary called Panodrama. Panodrama sets up BBC trying to defame him. Wow. Okay. I'm going to write that down too. Panodrama. I've got things to watch. Panodrama. I've got things to watch thanks to you. Thanks to you people. Sorry, looking at the wrong camera. And then I can come on here and then give my expert analysis. No, just jump on and give my opinion, because that's crazy. I wonder if I'll be able to, I probably won't be able to share these or do a live. I don't even know if I'll get done with a copyright on this. I've had a whole bunch of other copyright strikes, or not strikes, copyrights and blockages on other videos that I've done doing a live like this. So if it's not showing after, that's probably why. Panodrama, BBC. What's this? Can find it in Tommy's YouTube and playlist documentaries. Okay, cool. YouTube Tommy docos. All right, I'm going to have a look at that. If it's on YouTube, then I'm going to do a live reaction to it. So, and then maybe, hopefully I don't. Like I've shared before, I've already got one copyright strike, like an actual strike. I've had heaps of other copyright notices, but they've always said on a whole bunch of other videos, this doesn't warrant, it's not a copyright strike, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of it recently, I've been getting a few more. Don't know. People have been paying attention, watching my channel. Not even. But I have been getting a few more. But I think it's mostly been due to when I've had like my intro and outro videos, more so the intro video, I've all of a sudden started recently getting copyright strikes, and then they've just automatically blocked it and saying that they are now monetizing it or whatever. I'm like, whatever. Blinking, I got that as part of my professional subscription to blah, 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 and I've used it on a whole bunch of my other videos. So those other ones haven't been copyright struck. So what the hell's going on? So anyway, I submitted a dispute, and there's about, I think one's got 20 days left for them to respond, because they get 30 days to respond. Another one's got 22, another one's like 15, 12 days. So yeah, just all of a sudden just been getting bang, 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 hit with these bloody copyright strikes for mostly those ones. And then the walk and talk that I did with Shubs, that got blocked. So yeah, I don't know. Bloody some toe jams don't like the stuff that I'm putting on my channel, but I'll just keep going. And like I said, if I end up if the channel gets blocked or shut down, well then I just have to start another one.
Thank you, Wiz. So I get my teeth smashed. I get my front four smashed in. This is 2014. I get my front four smashed in, and then they take me down to isolation.
So somebody would organise that hit in the prison.
Yeah, the prison had to. No, the prison had. The prison, when the prison officer, his next paratrooper, he said, Tommy, taking you to A-Wing, where they are, the 6 that go in here for wanting to kill you, there's no cameras on A-Wing, mate. You're gone.
So the ex-paratrooper sounds like, did him a solid and told him, whatever you do, don't leave. But, man, it just makes you wonder, the stories and the information that guy must have. Yeah, I'm not surprised that stuff like that likely happens. I mean, you look at prisons, no matter where you are in the world, how contraband gets in, right? Like, it's not coming in just by being teleported into the prisons because an inmate is thinking about it. It's coming in through a number of people that have knowledge of things happening and are allowing that to happen. And that's disgraceful. I just seen a news headline recently. I wonder if I still see it, actually. I think I saw it today. A Kiwi prison officer charged, found guilty of, it's not on here now. So I just went back into my media thing again. But recently, Kiwi, I assume, corrections officer, found guilty of blinking doing illegal things within the prison system. But that's not the first, won't be the last. It's happened heaps of times, not only in New Zealand, but sadly other places of the world as well.
He goes, they're going to kill you. You're not going to beat you up. They're going to kill you. And we're in a maximum security jail. Just Google this. Woods Hill beheading. They beheaded a prisoner on the yard. They took his head off. They took his head off. 3 Muslims took a man's head off in the prison.
Wood Hill beheading. How does that happen? How do 3 men, and you got no cameras, what he was saying anyway, no cameras in a certain area. That's crazy. Like, who's running that rock show? But it sounds like some sort of Mickey Mouse outfit being run over there. And the fact that somebody can be beheaded in the, what did he say?
Prison on the yard. They took his head off. They took his head. Google this. Woods Hill beheading. They beheaded a prisoner on the yard. They took his head off. They took his head off. 3 Muslims took a man's head off in the prison. So this prison is an ISIS training camp. It's a 40% Muslim jihadist. Bearing in mind, Muslims make up 6% of the UK. 40% of the maximum securities, all the maximum securities taken over by Islam. All of them. But this was 2014, so that's one prison sentence. Yeah, that's time in the EDL. I leave the EDL. I come out of jail, and Ezra Levant convinces me to become a journalist. Basically says to me, stop the street activism and let the world see what you see. Make videos where there's problems, go and show them to the world. Yeah?
I'm going to pause this here, just seeing the time. I'm going to get into my, like, this is my trading time. Where I jump onto the charts and have a look. 7 through till about 9:30, maybe a little bit longer if I end up entering a trade. Haven't heard any of my little ding dings. Oh, that's because I turned the bloody alarms off. That's right, because it's annoying when it's alarming. Oh, just had a little look. Okay, anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Where are we? Appreciate people's time stopping by. Thank you for the tips with regards to the panodrama, and what else is there? Oh, and the other one was the one that I wrote down. 4 lines. So more stuff to watch and have a look at. Wood Hill beheading. That's crazy. How does that happen in a prison? Maybe it's like the Epstein stuff that's taken place. But appreciate your time as always. Anybody that stopped by here, those that like what Tommy does, and those that, including those that have no time for him, that think he's a lunatic. So yeah, if you stop by here, thanks for stopping by, for adding in your comments. I will look into Patreon from the perspective of, can I run a live and then other people can have audio, like ability to chime in, as long as I can still mute people. so that in case we get some weirdos that jump on here, maybe I'll get some lunatics that might jump on a live that I do and they start rambling on about other stuff. As long as I can just click on the screen and mute that person, that'll be cool. But otherwise, we'll see how we go. Anyway, oh, sorry, one new message. Cheers, man. Appreciate your time too. Cheers. Hope to catch the next live. Yeah, appreciate you, Zayden. Thank you very much. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, peeps. Ka kits.